Now, when we think of cancer, we might not necessarily think of our head or neck, but around 10,000 new cases of head and neck cancer are diagnosed in the UK every year, and we want to help raise awareness right here in Scotland.
Two ladies who have been affected by this type of cancer in very different ways are here to share their stories. Please welcome Cath and Sharleen Johnson to the programme. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Now, when we talk about head and neck cancer, what areas can affect and what are the signs, Cath?
Right, well, there's 30 different types of head and neck cancers. In a little small head, it's a lot to think there's actually 30 different types there. As we heard earlier in the programme, we've got tonsils. And then you can start with your jaw. You can then start with your mouth, teeth, your tongue, your nose, the sinuses, your tear duct. There's another one. There's another one I'm thinking of. But it's thyroid. You can go on and on. It is. And it's, unfortunately, not a lot of people know about head and neck cancer. You've got so many big companies out there that support so many other fantastic cancers, but we're here to raise head and neck cancer awareness.
I want to talk about both your stories, because like we said, two very different stories. But Cath, you were diagnosed in 2009. Now, you worked for British Airways. You were a cabin crew, a very visual job, a job that relied on appearances. Tell us what it was when you got that diagnosis of cancer in your sinus and tear ducts.
I think disbelief is number one, and shock. I mean, how can this actually happen to me? No one ever thinks they're going to get cancer. But because it was on my face, I think with being a girlie, it was very hard for me to actually, I had a hole down here and I was cut from there all the way down here and down onto my nose and lifted back. So it was very evident with head and neck cancer. Unfortunately, it's there. No one can hide head and neck cancer. It's very, very visual. And it's a thing that we get very ashamed of, and you can hide away. And a lot of people get very, very lonely because they don't want to go out there and face people. It
must be so difficult.
And you bounce back, and what both of you are doing is absolutely amazing. We'll talk about that in a second. But Sharleen, you're at the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital. You're also an intensive care nurse there and at the Beatson. But you're dealing with the cancer was a lot closer to home, wasn't it?
Yeah, so for me, cancer visited my house. It came to, my husband was diagnosed last August with oropharyngeal cancer, which basically is the base of tongue. He had quite an advanced tumour there. So that was very difficult to take myself out of looking after patients and having to look after my husband, and sometimes a bit of knowledge was dangerous. You know, it was put me in a very difficult situation.
That was a form of HPV. So tell us what that is.
Allen's cancer. So there obviously cancers are broken down into what causes them. So viruses and sort of environmental factors can cause them, and also, without harping on about it, smoking and drinking excessively can cause it, poor diet and being overweight. But for Alan, it was human papillomavirus that caused his cancer. Human papillomavirus 16 caused his. There's 150 types of human papillomavirus, and we all probably live with this virus every day. It's just your luck of the draw whether it goes on to develop into a cancer.
Different strains of it are obviously cancerous.
Absolutely. Well, they can cause cancer.
Now, we can talk about that in a lot of detail, and you do have a website which has more information on it. Both of you are doing something very big in October. Cath, tell us about that.
Great Wall of China.
Yep.
We want to raise awareness, so we think, so how can we do it? That's why we're dressed here today. And our little
Looking
Rosie.
Great. I love
it. You know, we want to make people aware that there's head and neck cancer out there. So what do we do? So we've gone out the country. We're going. I'm a stiletto, hairspray, lipstick girl. I don't do boots. I don't do mud. Well, I've been doing that a lot lately, and we've been up to the hills up at Patrick Hills, and that's some scenery is beautiful. But for me, every step is hard for me because I don't enjoy it. But I'm doing it to raise awareness, to make a difference for those people out there just now that are suffering head and neck cancer. Don't give in, fight it, and we're here for you.
Listen, you're both an inspiration. Details and more information are on your screen right now. Thank you both for joining us. Thank you. Now, after the break, a plan to bolster independent filmmaking in Scotland. But first of all,